thought it would be an interesting exercise to try and document a little bit behind the scenes of what I do. So we're getting ready for the opening round of the Supercars season in Adelaide. We've got the test day coming up, and then obviously the Adelaide 500. So yesterday I spent all day driving from Sydney to Mildura, crossing Hay Plain. And now I'm going to drive from Mildura to Adelaide. But before I do that, I'm going to go shoot the sunrise. So I've got some cool photos. So let's go do that. So I wouldn't normally be driving from Sydney to Adelaide. That's normally I'd just fly, but for this year, what I'd like to do is actually spend a little bit more time exploring a few places and see some places I haven't seen before. So with the traveling, particularly doing 40 odd race meetings a year, I tend to do. It's a lot of in and out, a lot of days on the road, but not necessarily a lot of times seeing places other than maybe spending an odd day in a city, but not necessarily seeing the places in between. So this year what I'm going to try and do is to spend a little bit more time exploring a few places when I get the opportunity, and Adelaide being the first round, so nothing leading into the week before. And I've got to go to Melbourne next for the TCR test day. It was actually easier to drive and do a round trip than it was going to be to then fly and then fly to Melbourne and then up to Benalla and then back down to Melbourne. And it was a lot of screwing around to try and get all that done within a week. So driving down to Adelaide this time, take the opportunity to go and do a little bit of exploring. I've never done the Sturt Highway before, so it was a good opportunity for me to go and see, well, what little there was in the Hay Plain, and stop in Mildura overnight. And now it's a short drive from Mildura to Adelaide, so I'm going to try and stop and see a few things as I spot them. I really don't know what there is around, and that'll give me it gives me a couple of hours to try and find some things to do before heading into Adelaide, and then once I get to Adelaide, I can start focusing on some other work. I do have an extra day in Adelaide to go and do some stuff, so we'll see how we go. Alright, so we're on day 4 of this little journey. Yesterday didn't go to plan, so I arrived on Sunday afternoon. I arrived in Adelaide just fine. Sat down at the hotel to knock out some work. Yesterday the plan was to actually get up nice and early, smash out a bunch of work, get auto action up to date, and do some of the things I really need to do to get that out of the way, so I could spend the afternoon doing some fun stuff and just enjoying the travel a little bit more. That didn't quite go to plan. The news of General Motors shutting down Holden and a few other bits and pieces, a lot of last minute livery releases and bits and pieces like that, really just meant I spent all day in the hotel keeping auto action up to date and sorting out a few other things for a few other clients, which it's all part and parcel when you basically work for yourself. So yeah, that wasn't ideal, but on my way out to the Bend Motorsport Park for the Supercars Preseason test day. It's a big day. Obviously, we've got to get photos and probably have to get some information for the journos at Auto Action for some stories for the magazine and the website. So yeah, busy day ahead. Hopefully, normally what happens with Supercars events is there's TV right restrictions, so you can't film any video. In previous years, the test day hasn't had that restriction in place, so I'll make some inquiries, but with a bit of luck, the test day won't have the video limitation, so I can grab some video of to sort of showcase a little bit behind the scenes, taking the photos and keeping your website up to date and what it's like in a media center, I guess. And then we'll go from there. So just on my way out to the track now. It's early start. It's an hour and a bit drive, just a little over an hour from Adelaide to the Bend, and then get that and then head back to Adelaide before going out to the Adelaide Parklands for the Clipsal 500. So the key thing for me shooting the test day, well, I went out trackside and did a couple of shots to get some good angles of the cars on track, particularly the new liveries and some of the new cars to get to cover off the news stories for the event and get some shots just for a photo gallery for auto action. The real objective was to get a lot of headshots, but because there was only basically one day between the Tail and Bend test and the Adelaide 500, there wasn't a lot of opportunity to use a lot of photos. So whereas headshots, those tend to have a little bit more longevity. So I spent a little bit more time focusing on that, walking up and down behind the pits, just to try and get some shots of all those sort of the drivers getting ready, team owners, other key people up and down the lane, just to try and get a good bank of those photos, because those are the ones that are going to have the key longevity that they can use beyond just the test day, and it makes it a little bit easier trying to not get those shots during the race meeting. Getting shots of those guys during race meetings is obviously quite difficult. There's a lot going on, so the test day when things are a little bit more relaxed was a little bit easier to get some of those shots. Alright, so yesterday went really well. Busy day, long day. So spent a bit of time out of track. Very windy out at the Bends yesterday, so made it look really difficult conditions to shoot in. Particularly trying to get panning shots and stuff. So it was just gale force winds, and it started to lightly drizzle at the end of the day. So not a lot of value to be taken out of those photos, so I didn't really take any. So yeah, just big day out of the track, and then straight back to the hotel to continue. Obviously a lot of news stories to roll out yesterday, just a lot of stuff happening coming up to the first round of the season, or first round of the Supercars season anyway. So today, big day. Basically, I'm just heading out to the airport now to go pick up a colleague, and then we're going to head out to the track. Today's all about wheeling and dealing and chasing up stuff, getting livery launch photos done, chasing up customers who haven't got back to me. Like, there's a lot of stuff to try and get done today. So the sooner I can get to the track, the better. Basically, get on top of some of that stuff. Obviously, everyone's flying in now, so hopefully when I get to the airport, I'll be able to grab some people and chat to them there before they head out to the track. But yeah, just quick trip out to the airport, then straight into the track. Won't be able to film at the track So just because the nature of Supercars TV rights deals and stuff like that. So what I'm going to do is I'll probably share some photos of what I've managed to accomplish today, and hopefully do a little bit of a summary depending on how things go tonight. Probably going to be another busy one, and yeah, so a bit going on as there always is, the first race of the season. Just a lot of things to try and knock down, to just lock down and just get sorted out, because it's just everything comes together at the last minute for the opening round of the year. So it's all with everyone's best intentions to get things locked away as early as possible. It just doesn't work out that way. So it's going to be a very busy day. A lot of shaking hands and just talking to people and just making sure I've got everything locked out for the year. Basically, the better job I do of getting things locked away, particularly with Super 2 and Trans Am customers and stuff like that, the easier it makes it down the track, because then I can sort it out. Otherwise, you're just constantly chasing your tail. So try and get all that sorted out today, and then Thursday comes into a busy, just on track, and then I can focus on that, not have to worry about so much. So yeah, big day ahead if I ever get through this Adelaide traffic. So yeah, I'll cue photo montage, I suggest. A bit of a weekend wrap up. Obviously couldn't film at the racetrack. I was probably a bit too busy to do so anyway, so that's probably a good thing. Wednesday started out a little bit disappointing. I was worked really hard on a lot of things over the off season, and turns out not a lot of it came to fruition, which is a bit frustrating. Put in a lot of work to just really try and build things up for the new year. Obviously, new start for a lot of people stepping up. So that was a bit that was a bit tough to take on the chin. But it was a good weekend. A lot of customers, a good amount of customers to take care of. A couple of my guys stepped up to Super 2. So yeah, it worked out quite well. Good to see a couple of our guys on the podiums, which was good. Got some ripper photos. And all things considered, it wasn't a too bad event. It wasn't as hot as typical Adelaide 500s have been in the past, so it actually worked out pretty well. I was just kind of hoping to have a few more things, hoping to be a little bit more busy. I think that's the key. So anyway, that didn't work out. So on to the next event. So basically just driving. We've just left Adelaide this morning. Spent a couple of hours driving down the Princess Highway. Just stopped in at the Giant Lobster at Kingston, because what's a road trip without stopping in something big? So just on the road now to Mount Gambier, because I've never been there before, and we'll take the scenic route down to Warrnambool before going around the Great Ocean Road, which also I haven't done before. So that will be episode 2 of this little thing. But yeah, so just wrapping up what we did at Adelaide. Big events, good way to start off the year. I think when you work for yourself, you put a lot of pressure on yourself to try and make things come to fruition, because basically it's your livelihood, and it didn't. So that's okay. We'll pick ourselves up, or pick myself up, and we'll get on to the next one. Hopefully this TCR test day at Winton will be a little bit productive, make a few things happen, and then yeah, busy few weeks ahead. So anyway, I'm sure I'll wrap this one up, and we'll start on to vlog number 2 for the Great Ocean Road and the TCR test day. Ciao.